Welcome to the second episode on the recorder technique. Today we're going to talk about posture. So the first thing you should know is that you need to have your head over your heart over your pelvis. So I've seen people play like this. And you see what happens. My shoulder is not in a really good posture. And I've even seen some people play like this. So we've got the same problem. The thing is, this head weighs 4 kilos. So you really will want to have it straight on the rest of your skeleton. The same goes for your pelvis. So you will really want to have a natural flexed spine, and your pelvis can be tucked a little bit under or just in its natural position, and your knees should be bent just a tiny bit. I would also place your feet hip apart and your weight on both feet equally. So again, head over heart, so we don't have to work extra with the neck, and the rest of the body on the pelvis, so no strange, for the same reasons. So if my back is behind my pelvis, you see there's going to be pressure here and it's not going to carry the weight correctly. Same, when I'm off to one foot, then my hips are probably not going to be very happy because you're getting out of balance. So in the end, this could even affect the spine. Now the recorder should be at an angle of about 45 degrees. So with my head straight, and this 45 degrees angle, the air can still flow in quite directly. Now another thing that we don't speak about normally is your inner space. In general, having a feeling of the space behind you, at your back, above you, just imagine on your sides how much space is there, even below you. And then this inner space. So you see when I play, there's a certain inner circle here. I don't lift my elbows too much. I don't pinch them to the side either. So there's just a little bit of space. They are relaxed, my shoulders are relaxed, and my recorder is not too close to me. Another important thing is that the recorder should be in a straight line. So I've seen a lot of recorder players a little bit off to the side, which is still okay, but sometimes it just goes a bit too much to the side. So you get this kind of effect, I suppose. I don't know, but really try to work on a right angle there so that the air is going in directly and you don't have to do something funny with your embouchure. Okay, speaking about embouchure, the embouchure of the recorder should be quite relaxed. So you can think a little bit of a kissy mouth or of an ooh. What you should avoid is tension here. So we don't play any transverse flute, so we don't need any tension here. It's even counterproductive because we have a little resonance chamber here, and these are also resonance chamber. We ourselves are one big resonance chamber. We are a guitar. Okay, I already made that joke. Our entire body is a resonance chamber, but the space in our mouth and between the teeth and the upper lip, those are important spaces of resonance. So as soon as you tense this up, it's not going to help for your resonance anymore, and it even gives a kind of aggressive tone. So I understand that you want to try to close off the recorder, but you will really have to work on a relaxed embouchure, or at least this U. Ooh. And in this sense you almost cannot overdo it. Mine is quite relaxed. But I've seen professionals really play like this. and I haven't really noticed a difference, so that's fine. While we're talking about embouchure, the jaw also should be relaxed. As I say it should be a dumb man's face. There it is. So that also means that when you're playing, you shouldn't be moving anything here. You shouldn't be playing like this. This should be still. Also think about your tongue. Your tongue within the mouth should also be relaxed, and the only thing that's moving is the tip of the tongue. We will talk about that in another episode on articulation. For the moment, just think of this jaw. If your jaw is very tensed, you can massage it. Actors work opening the jaw, and then there is like a little space here that opens up. And there's an exercise that's putting your fist under your jaw and pushing against it. If you notice that you have a very tense jaw, these are good exercises. Okay, now we're coming to the 3 support points. Maybe you already know 2 of them. So that's going to be the underlip and the thumb. But what happens with this is that it's a little bit unstable. So I work with a 3rd support point, and that's going to be the little finger. So I put it on the recorder ridge over here. So not the lower one, but the upper one. You will have to find your own posture for it. The best is if you can have your little finger a little bit rounded. I myself place it quite straight. And your thumb is going to be between finger holes 4 and 5, more or less. Okay, the 3 support points. Another important reason for these 3 support points is that we don't want to burden the left hand, and especially the thumb. This one needs to be really virtuosic, really light and easy to move. Just another detail. When you inhale, you don't want to close off this entire runway to the lungs. So inhale with ah or ah. So you open up everything, and we don't hear, as I explained in the last episode to you, we don't use the nose, but there's another noisy way of inhaling, and that's. So we really try to open the mouth in the shape of an O or an ah. The benefits of this are that it's going to be soundless, and second, it's just much better. There's no restriction, and you can inhale deeply. So let's now see how we can practice having this support point. We have to practice the moment of changing between placing it and not having to use it. For example, between a C and an A on an alto recorder. So actually the best exercise is just practicing it without the left hand. Then you can practice it with the left hand. You will have to slide it up if you come from a B flat. Or you have to slide it down if you go from the C to the B flat. But if you go down, it's easier to just lift it up slightly. You will learn in time that perhaps there will be a half of a second that you're not placing it, but in general it will immediately take over the weight of the recorder. And that's what we want in order to be able to play things like. I would definitely recommend that you annotate it in the score. So I would write down a plus if you're going to have to put it down, and a minus if you're going to take it away when you're going to play some notes with that hand, so you don't need it. Another very important issue is the shape of the fingers. So if we're playing with some kind of straight and even forced form of the fingers, then we will have to change that. So in general, what we want is quite rounded fingers. And my trick for this is to focus on the middle fingers. So the middle fingers, I will want them rounded, like this. I don't want overly rounded fingers. That's no use. Diagonally rounded fingers. Those are the middle fingers. And the thumb, I want at least a straight thumb, so I don't want any blocked thumb. Straight or a little bit rounded if you want. Your fingernails should be short. And why is that? Because when we go to the higher register, we're not going to play like this. This is not the correct way. The correct way is bending a little bit the thumb joint, and then you will be able to play very rapidly and very efficiently. So that's the correct way. It's bending this thumb joint as if it were one of those harmonica doors. Just by bending it, you see the finger is going to lower a little bit. So the combination of these three fingers, with the thumb you're going to form a kind of oval. This is going to be oval shaped. So these three fingers, the middle fingers, diagonally on their tips, and then the thumb close to the fingernail. The hands of everybody are different, so I cannot show you exactly what you should do, but it's very important that at least it's straight. This is going to make it very easy for the other fingers to also be more or less rounded and have a healthy movement. So why shouldn't these joints be blocked? Well, I always give the example of when you block your knees. I cannot even walk on this sofa if I block my knees. If I block my knees and I try to walk, you see that it affects immediately my hips. Same goes for any blocked joints that you've got over here. It's going to have an effect on the rest of the hand, and the joint itself is going to be spent very easily. Great. So we've got a straight position, 45 degrees, 3 points of support, round middle fingers, thumb at least straight and close to the fingernail. And then we can place everything on top, feeling the borders of the holes, but not pressing. That's very important. Actually, another exercise that you can do to see if you're not holding the recorder with your left hand is at any moment when you're playing, just taking away that hand. Let's see if you're like in the middle of a musical phrase. See if you're able to just take away the hand. You should be able to do that. Okay, and last point is playing half notes with the right hand. So for this you will have to slide the entire hand and not just a finger. And the technique is a combination of looking at your imaginary watch and lifting up a little bit your wrist. So it's going to be, you see? There's a sideward movement and there's also a slightly turning movement towards me. Again, be careful not to lift too much your elbows. So I think a point of interest will always be, where is the weight? And we always try it to be in the right hand. And also for this video, you will find a PDF on my webpage with all of this information. At lobke.world, go to Documents, that's either in the menu in the top right corner or scrolling down on the home page. Then you will find it on my document page, where there are also my academical writings and music scores. So subscribe to my email list if you would like to receive news and updates. Next episode will be about articulation. So with this, we've come to the end of this episode, quite a lot of information. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.